Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
In today's review, we're looking at Number 4 Envelope by Blake Vogt. I have both the regular version, which is more of a strolling close-up version, and also the stage version to have a look at. A big thank you to Blake for sending these over for review. I did purchase my original one years ago, and I've been using it religiously at every single event for over 5 years now. And as well as the thanks to Blake, remember that in the top pinned comment and video description, there are discount codes to a variety of your favorite magic dealers. Purchasing something that you've been looking at does directly help my channel and it helps me to create more reviews. But my TLDR on Number 4 Envelope by Blake Vogt is basically that this is an essential for any kind of magician. There are so many possibilities with this. It's a reasonable price point considering it's going to last you a really long time. It's versatile and it can be your saving grace in a moment of failure when a magic trick goes a little bit awry. So for all intention purposes, I wholly recommend Number 4 Envelope by Blake Vogt. What is Number 4 Envelope by Blake Vogt? It's a very simple premise. You have an envelope. Of course, this is the more carryable, more pocketable, what I would call close-up version of Number 4 Envelope. And we have the stage Number 4 Envelope here. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit in this review. But what it is an envelope that gives you 4 out opportunities. So there are 4 different ways you can open these envelopes and you can have 4 different reveals, predictions, anything that you may wish to have in it, 4 different items that someone may have been thinking of. Of course, you're only going to ever pull one of these items out, but that's what it is. It's an envelope, an ingenious, incredibly well-made envelope that gives you the possibility of 4 different outcomes. But Blake does mention in the tutorial that you can potentially make this into an 8-out device as well. So it gives you a world of opportunity in revelations and predictions, or things like confabulations. That's what it is, but what do you get? These are 2 separate items. With this one, the what I would call a close-up magician's Number 4 envelope, you receive the Number 4 envelope in an envelope, and then with the other one, the stage one, you receive exactly the same, the Number 4 envelope in an envelope. In addition to that, you receive 40 minutes of expert instruction by Blake. And Blake really goes above and beyond. He's giving us more than we really deserve. For the £25 roughly, some places sell it a little bit more, 28, 30 pounds. So it depends where you shop on the price that you're going to get with this. And of course, Blake is based in the States. So if you are based in the States, it's probably cheaper just to buy this directly from Blake himself. And there will be a link to his website in the video description. But as I say, the 40 minutes of instructions, Blake is too generous, in my opinion, for the price of this. He walks us through ideas for a princess card trick. He walks us through ideas for a couple of other routines. I can't remember the names of the routines off the top of my head, but there's kind of a witch pocket routine where you could be thinking of a key or a banknote or a note or a shopping list, something like that. And then whichever pocket you take it out of, that's the one thing that's in the envelope. So there's so many ideas and so much potential with this. Blake gives you more than enough to get you started until you come up with your own ideas and your own routines and presentations for using this. But that's what you receive, just the envelope itself and then 40 minutes of instructions. The instructions are in English, they're password protected on Blake's website, and they're hosted on YouTube. How easy is it to perform? Very, very easy. I'm going to show you with this one because this is the one I've had for at least 5 years. And I'm going to explain the presentation that I give with this in the end at the final thoughts. But basically, someone will think of something or choose something, and then you will open this up just like this, and you pull out a card, and that's all that's inside. That's how easy this is. And then if you were to want a different prediction, you open it up and you pull out the other prediction. And again, there's nothing in there to see. And that's it. That's how simple and easy it is to perform. There are no real sleights or anything for you to do. All of the work is done within the routine, and then you have your outs in the envelope. So everyone of all skill levels should be able to perform this really easily. And for the reset time, I've just kind of shown you basically what the reset time is. That's how fast it is. In performing it and in putting the prediction back in the envelope, you are also resetting it. So I would say this is a near instant reset. However, you're probably not going to want to perform this to the same groups of people or to anyone multiple times. So if you are at an event and you're performing it for a group of people, you probably don't want any of those people in the next performance, because they will see that the envelope opens up in multiple different ways, or they may notice that anyway. They may not. If you're opening it from one end and then you open it from the other end, or vice versa from the sides, then they won't notice it. But what they will notice is that you're pulling out a different prediction. That can be solved with clever presentation, but I think that's a bit beyond a review and maybe something that I will explain in a future video with my thoughts on presentations and the work that goes into designing a routine for this prop. The reset time, as I say, is extremely fast and near instant. The angles are perfect. It is foolproof. You can perform this at any angle and you're not going to flash anything. There's no hidden flaps. There's no things that you need to attach or detach. It's all self-contained within the envelope, and you can open it from any angle with everyone completely surrounding you. So I highly recommend this for all types of situations, whether you're performing to a group of people, whether you're in a close-up show, whether you're on stage. Doesn't matter where it is. There are no angle restrictions whatsoever. And the pocket space is also good. I usually keep this in my inner jacket pocket or in my top pocket, something like that, so it's easily accessible. And the envelopes are also very thin. Blake does explain that these are made from specifically a very thin kind of tyvek, which helps with the presentation and means that these envelopes aren't going to look too thick. So he has carefully chosen and curated the craft quality of these envelopes, and for that reason they take up very little pocket space. My final thoughts on these: the stage number 4 envelope is just a little bit too thin or a little bit too small to fit a jumbo card. Now, I'm not necessarily you would want to put 4 jumbo cards in here anyway, because that would make it very thick and potentially make it obvious as you're taking a jumbo card out. But of course, you could always get jumbo cards printed on a thinner stock than a playing card, and you could pull it out as a really thin card stock. So that's just something to be aware of. It doesn't fit exactly a jumbo card. Also, I want to show you this. This is the presentation that I've been doing for, I think, over 5 years now. I've been doing it for a lot of years anyway. I will have these ESP cards and I will basically tell a story of the ESP study that was done. I think it was done in the 1960s. This is a real thing. The study was done across thousands of people in the United States to test whether people had real psychic abilities. And what they would do is use these cards as well as 5-pointed stars and other symbols, and they would mix them up and they would say, okay, which one is this one? And then the person would guess or tell them exactly what it was because they were psychic, and then they would either get it right or get it wrong. And the thing with this study is that they found out that no one, 100% of the time, could predict the exact or could know the exact card or symbol that the scientist was holding. So I tell this story, which is nice because, as I say, they can look it up and there are lots of findings and lots of publishings done with this study. But then I just get them to select one of these. And I also, as they're selecting it like this, I give them the opportunity to change their mind. And I say, which one do you think it is? And the times when it is that one, so for example, this one is the cross. If they say cross, and you turn it over like that, usually everyone's quite impressed and everyone's quite taken aback that they've actually got it right because of the context that I've created with explaining about this study. I show all of the others, you could have had any one of these, but you chose the cross. And I talk sometimes, depending on the group, I talk a little bit about fate and about destiny and about how the fact that you don't necessarily have the choice of free will. Everything is predetermined. And as I say, I talk a little bit about that. And then I say, last night, as I was preparing for this event, I had a premonition. As I was falling asleep, had a premonition. And I took this envelope and I thought, I know this is going to come in useful. And I took a single playing card and I put it inside this envelope. And you won't believe this, but the premonition that I had was inside this envelope. And sometimes I will get them to read this out and I will say, can you read this as it's coming out? Pull it out slowly. And it says, you will choose the, and then it's the cross. And that's the presentation that I give it. that's something that feel free to use it. I'm sure this is not unique to me. I'm sure many people have done this. I believe these are from the ESP deck, which can be purchased from Vanishing Ink, which also Vanishing Ink and Monster Magic and a few other shops do sell these number 4 envelopes. So you can get them in a few different places. But I think that's everything that I have to say for now. I'm also going to show you a close-up of this envelope, which I've been using for, as I say, over 5 years, which is still looking really good. But I'm going to show you a close-up of the difference between the one that I've been using for a lot of years and the brand new one that I've just received, because there is a slight difference in the quality of the tyvek. And I mentioned this to Blake on Instagram. I said, hey, you've got a new material for these. Mine wasn't that dark when you first started releasing these. And he said, good eye. Yes, the material has gotten better and has a better quality. So this is now, I think, more of a professional, it's a darker, richer black, and just looks just a little bit nicer than the original envelope, which is always nice to see with magic tricks when they get improved over time, or they get a version 2, or they get a brand new release. And yeah, these have been around for a while, but I think they are an essential purchase for every kind of magician, and there's so much that you can play with, and there's so much that you can explore with. And that brings me to the end of today's review. If you have any questions about these, leave it in a comment below. Of course, those discount codes are in the top pinned comment and the video description. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.